Hi, this is Jenna with Brown Dog Craft Company. Today we're going to use one stamp set 3 different ways. So let's get into it. The stamp set that we're going to be using is actually a bundle. It's called Sending Love, and it's originally from last year's Spring Mini catalog. So this stamp set is, I guess you'd probably call it a Valentine's Day stamp set, but we're going to use it for the holidays. So not only are we using one stamp set 3 different ways, I'm showing you how to use a stamp set in a non-traditional way, I guess. Okay, so here's all the parts and pieces that I have for the card that I'm going to make live, and then I have 2 bonus cards that show the 2 other ways that we can use everything. So I've cut the mailbox from, I'm trying to think what that DSP is called. Is it like a little bit festive, maybe? Really cute plaid, blue and white. When you die cut this out, the score lines are die cut into the mailbox for you. So you just fold everything and then use a little bit of glue. And if you don't glue the opening to the mailbox shut, you can actually tuck a little envelope into the mailbox, which we definitely do on the card today because it's so stinking adorable. And you could even leave the little envelope open and put a little note inside if you wanted to go all that extra way. I am going to close this piece with some glue just because I don't want to see that inside pattern. I'm just making sure to leave the little slot open so we can tuck our envelope in just a little bit here. Now I've die cut the envelope from some blueberry bushel cardstock, and again this is the die cuts, or it doesn't cut, the die puts the embossed lines in here, so it's really easy to figure out where you need to fold this. So I'm just going to fold it up and use some liquid glue and hold the envelope closed. Now this is where you could only close 3 sides of the envelope and don't put any glue on the inside, just put glue on the outside there. And you could tuck a little piece of paper in there with a note. I'm not going to do that, so I'm going to glue it shut. And then we're going to add a little heart that I die cut from, it looks like gold glitter, but it is peach pie shimmer cardstock. And it's just the perfect gold in my opinion. And then we'll hold that shut with our reverse tweezers and just set it aside to dry a little bit. Okay, isn't that cute? I love it. All right, now there's another die. Ooh, that went flying. It die cuts the base of the mailbox, and it even die cuts those lines in there. So you can just, I've just taken Crumb Cake's cardstock and die cut that, and then I have Crumb Cake Light blend here, and I'll color on this and just give it a little bit of shadow. Blend the dark out with the light, and then I'll blend the light out with the blender or the color lifter. Now you could get a very similar look if you used a blending brush and some Crumb Cake ink or early espresso ink even, and ink blended on here too. So I think last year I made a card where I ink blended onto this, probably last January. If I had to guess, it was a Valentine's Day card. So okay, once we have the mailbox put together, here's some garden green and another pattern from that a little bit festive. Now I've cut this down. It is 3 3/4 by 5, and I'm going to take some of the stamps, the little postage, I don't know what that's called, and I don't know what it's called on the bottom either, but we see it on mail. So I'm going to put these on this panel that I've cut out, and we're going to stamp with our black ink. So I have it in my Misty. These are red rubber cling, so I've removed any mats from my Misty. And I'll get my black ink here and we will ink these up. And I'm putting them in my Misty just because if I need to stamp twice, then I can stamp twice. But red rubber cling do traditionally stamp really well, just with a clear block too. So whatever you prefer. So I'll stamp those and give them a good push, and it stamped great the first time. So we'll get this panel out and I'll set it aside. The ink dries relatively quickly, but I'll set it aside to dry. It's so cute. Make sure your Christmas trees are right side up if you are using this DSP. Okay, now in that DSP there are some die cuts, and we use three of them on this card and a few of them on the other cards that I will give you a close-up at the end here. But I'm going to take a white gel pen and I'm just going to add a little bit of definition, maybe. I don't really know what to call it. Just detail, I guess. I'm going to add some detail to the bow and make it stand out a little bit. So no real plan here. I am just drawing some lines wherever there's like a break in the pattern on the bow. So just sort of accentuating the areas where it would go from dark to light. So just adding some detail here. Doesn't it look cute? Okay, and once we have that, we'll add some dimensionals, and we're going to add it to the mailbox. Oops, don't add it yet. I think I want to add a little bit of mailbox swag. So here's the little pine tree branch from the DSP. Again, just a little like ephemera pop out. And I'll glue that to the mailbox, and then we can add the bow. There we go. Super cute. I love it. Okay, now we can put the rest of the mailbox together, and we'll take the flag. Now this flag, if you did put a brad through here, the flag could move up and down. I don't need it to move up and down on this card. There's already a lot going on, so we're just going to glue it right here. And I think I've cut this from the White Glimmer. I think that comes in a 3-pack. I think it's Old Olive, Berry Burst, and White. And then lastly, for the mailbox, we'll put it on the post. So just with some liquid glue here. And I'm gonna put that not directly in the middle, sort of off to the left. The mailbox is gonna be off to the left on the card. So, oops. And I thought we were finished, but we need to add our letter. Our cute little letter. I think you could make up a whole bunch of stories about what's in this letter. It's a letter to a friend, it's a Christmas card to a relative, or maybe it's a letter to Santa. So I think on my card it's probably a letter to Santa. So I did not glue the letter down. It still comes out to this day. Okay, so now here I have a piece of blueberry bushel cardstock. I've used my anti-static powder tool, and so that's what the chalky look is there. And I'm going to do a sentiment and our little like postage stamp seal or stamp, whatever the post office stamps on our cards when we mail them. I'm going to stamp those in Versamark, and I will heat emboss them with white embossing powder. Now, you'll see me do this. I think I do it 3 times. I like to stamp sentiments, but especially things that I'm going to heat emboss more than once with the Misty. I find that it gives me the best heat emboss impression or results when I stamp multiple times with my Versamark. It just helps get that extra ink on there. The ink is sticky, and that's what the embossing powder sticks to. So I just want to make sure we get lots of ink there on our cardstock. Okay, so then I'll heat emboss that with white embossing powder, and you don't have to worry about the chalky look that's on here. Once your heat emboss is dry or cooled, you can take just like your finger or the sleeve of your shirt or a clean rag and kind of buff it away. Just it comes off pretty easy. It's just very noticeable on darker cardstock, but it comes right off. And it really helps you get the best results when you're heat embossing. So, all right. Give that a little tap. I think that looks really good. And then I always put the lid on my embossing powder, otherwise I spill it. So we'll heat set this and let it cool, and then we can die cut these out. Now that little circle has a die in the Sending Love dies, and this die is from Hearts and Hugs. It's just like a banner sentiment die, and it does not fit the sentiment. The sentiment is too long for the die. So what I've done is I've only run the piece of paper, the piece of cardstock, through my die cut machine a little bit. So as you can see, it only die cut the left side of the sentiment. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the die on the right side of my sentiment where it's not cut out. And then I'm going to make sure I nestle the left end of the die into the grooves that were already cut. And then I'm just going to run the right side through the die cut machine and then stop. So I'm not going to run it all the way through. And that's how I cut out a sentiment that is longer than the die. Okay, so that's a little trick. And I love to use it. It's a great trick. So these will get popped up with dimensionals. I pretty much pop up everything with dimensionals. Let's be real. Okay, so here I have a blueberry bushel card base. I like to do top folding card bases. And I've stamped the inside with a sentiment from Christmas labels. And from More Than Autumn, I pulled in that adorable little gingerbread man. He's maybe my favorite stamp for the whole year. It's a very teeny stamp. It's like a ½ inch tall, but I love it. So here we'll put our DSP on our garden green mat. And I like an 1/8 of an inch mat for the most part. Get our white inside glued down. And then I'm going to pop up, of course, the garden green panel with the DSP here. So this will get popped up right in the center. And voila, voila, it's like magic. All right, the mailbox is also going to get popped up. And if you don't like all this dimension, you definitely do not have to do it. You could just glue everything down. I don't mind paying a little bit extra postage for mailing my cards that have a little bit extra dimension. So, okay, I'm going to line the mailbox up on the front, and we'll put the little, I don't know what you call that, seal at the top there. And then in the die set, there's these bushes dies, and I don't want bushes. I live in the here where in the winter there's snow, so in Wisconsin. So I want my bushes to be snow. So instead of cutting them from green, I cut them from white, and instead of bushes, they're now snow. So multi-purpose dies. Those will get dimensionals. I will line those up here. And I'll just trim off any that are hanging off the edge over there. And then I will Stella these so they can have all the glitter. And we'll put our sentiment here. I'll kind of tuck the sentiment. It'll be in front of the mailbox and underneath the snow. So sort of peeking out there. Whoops. Oh, that's so cute. I love how this is turning out. I will bring the card back in view just a minute here. I think I was zoomed in more than I intended to be. Okay, I've got these 3 little hearts. They are also from the dies. And they're cut from white glimmer, and I will add those to the card. So I like to add embellishments in 3s. So 1 medium heart and 2 little hearts. So we'll get those added on here. Let's see, we'll do a big one down here, and a little one, and a little one over here. And last but not least, I love to do glossy accents on my cards. So I'm going to add a little bit of glossy accents up on the hearts where the stamp is. And glossy accents goes on cloudy, and when it dries clear and textured. So it's a really fun thing to do to your cards. Now, I made another card similar to this, but I used different DSP and different colors and different pieces. That one is more of a red and pink card. And then, oh, I forgot one other thing I did, or 2 other things. I took that adorable little gingerbread man, stamped him with Versamark onto crumb cake, die cut him out, and he'll get added to the card. And then I did take another pre-cut ephemera piece from the DSP, and that was the little Christmas tree. So I added the Christmas tree behind the mailbox. On the other card, I added a present, and then there's a really cute like panel that gets included in the DSP pack, and it looks like cookies. So I had to use it, and That's the third card. The third card I added the gingerbread man to, and that gets the peppermints that everyone has been loving. So I think they're still in stock. If you like those peppermints, you should run, run, run and get them. Run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch him. He's the gingerbread man. I don't know. Okay. Anywho, there's the Christmas tree. We'll get the Christmas tree added on there. And then the third card, I actually added the mailbox. I stamped in Memento black and colored it in, and I cut it out. And then I die cut the envelope also. I stamped and die cut the envelope, and then added a little bow to the mailbox to make it feel more Christmassy. So, and that one is cherry cobbler and pool party. So those are the 3 cards I have for you today. Here's the first that we finished. Isn't it so pretty? I absolutely love Blueberry Bushel, and I wish I used it more. I think I will. All right, there's the pink and red card. So very similar, different colors, different DSP. You had me at peppermint. Okay, and then the third one is the cherry cobbler and pool party. And this is the one where I stamped and colored in the mailbox. Okay, so 1 stamp set, 3 different ways. If you don't have this stamp set, I highly recommend it. It's one of my favorites, and it's not just a Valentine's Day stamp set. I love when they do the stamps that you can stamp and die cut, and also the die cut paper piecing the dies. So it's a really fun stamp set, and I hope you give it a try. Thanks, and we'll see you next time. Bye now.